just clicked start recording.
Okay. So this is the installer of the application. Okay, this is the installer. So it's pretty small, 7 megs, easy to move around. You just run it, actually. Oh, okay. So that means it's a permit. Now it's not going to let us even exit. Hold on. That's eMobile. PI discrepancy. Yeah. Okay. So it means we got to copy this executable into your Retail Pro directory. And then probably need to run it as administrator then, because it was not able to access the database. There we go. This is the interface. It's pretty straightforward. You have the subsidiary that you can select from. If you have multiple subsidiaries at a location, it would populate it with those subsidiaries. Or you can, and then you choose the store that the physical is for. And then the PI date. So that would be the date that the physical inventory is created, so it knows where to find it. And then the next part is an output spreadsheet. So this is a file that you're creating ahead of time, an Excel document. Stephanie at Yosemite Aramark said she's had some sites where the document had to be on the desktop for it to actually properly export to it. But other locations she had success with it just being in whatever root folder or folder they desired. So we create that ahead of time. So first we'll have to create kind of a test physical inventory, make some zones, and stick some items in those zones, because basically the discrepancy report takes the merged zones that you have in that physical and creates an output file that has it nice and organized with items by zone. So whereas the normal discrepancy report just tells you, how much you've scanned of an item, what the start quantity was, and what your discrepancy is, this output file will tell you that information, but also tell you how much you counted in each zone, so you can do a better job at tracking down where your actual discrepancies lie. So it's kind of a nice little feature. So we'll just go here and physical inventory, and we're just going to call this a test. And what physical should we just do? The warehouse? Is that fine?
Yeah, the warehouse is fine.
Okay, we'll create. Warehouse must have a lot of stuff in it.
It does.
Okay. So we'll go to our zones. We'll just say new. And I don't know, we'll give it. She did say, Stephanie also mentioned that if these zones have like weird characters in them or anything, like if you put like special characters in the zone names, that it will kind of throw off the customization. So just typically, alphanumeric is best. So we'll just do like, zone number 1, create, scanned, and then I'll need your guys' help actually dropping in some items that actually exist, since I don't know any of your lookup codes. If you have some, go ahead and punch some in.
Your guess is as good as mine. They're up in the 100,000s. So do 100
Ah.
100. Yeah.
Item not found. Okay. All right. Well, let's go find some. We'll just do this. We'll just take like that guy and this guy and this. Oops. Sure. This guy. Add counts, and I will just say we, I don't know, had 115 of these, and like 20 of these, and I don't know, like 800, so a whole bunch of those. All right, and back, new. It's number 2. Oops, I had the wrong one selected. Okay. All right, so you have all your zones. Then we are going to merge them just as if we were going to run our discrepancies normally. So we'll just say mark all, merge marked, short. So now we have our PI record. It has our merge zones. So now we need to create a file. So we'll try just on the desktop for now. And we'll say this is new Excel worksheet, and we will call this, I don't know, PI test. So then we'll browse to where our folder is. One thing to note that this save file as type filter doesn't actually work. So like if we look here, it doesn't actually show us our Excel documents and stuff. We actually have to choose all to see them properly. So we say PI test. All right. And we've got our date as today. We've got our store. We've got our sub. So we should just be able to go run. And then it says done. And then if we open up our file, so here we have everything. It's the whole PI, but it has everything broken into zones and what zones the items are in.
Wow. Nice.
I have now, of course, this is just kind of like a raw output. Let me grab Stephanie. Somebody sent me one that she has that she had like cleaned up nicely and kind of just gives us an idea of what a full physical one would look like. I'm just going to grab it from our Dropbox really quick. Oh, of course. Can't ever just let you in. Wait a sec for that code to come through. There it is. So here's kind of an example of one that's been cleaned up a little bit with the zones of the different items. So it's just a better way of kind of tracking and figuring out where stuff is in the store, or like the warehouse specifically, because I don't know how big your guys' warehouse is, but it could be massive, and you could have stuff all over the place in different locations. I think I had helped the San Francisco Giants do their physical at their warehouse, and they had something like 900 zones that they counted.
Oh,
and so so trying to track down where stuff might have been miscounted was kind of a bit of a nightmare, and they would have loved to have this.
Yeah, we have that in our stores too, where we have 3 floors of an old building and you have no idea where anything is.
Yeah, so this tells you specifically what zones all the items came from, so you can track stuff down better.
Very nice.
And that's about it. It's pretty straightforward and simple, and I mean easy enough to run, and
Super simple.
no real setup to it. Yeah.
I have a question for you. Is this something they have to load per data center then? Where do they have to load it, and for how many stores and such? Or by server?
Well, so you need it wherever you're running the physical, unless, and this would be kind of like just like additional steps, I guess. They'd have to actually, like, if they were preparing the PI at a remote, they'd have to prepare it, proc it over to the main, import the physical at the main, and then run this tool on the physical. So you kind of really need it at the store level in order for it to, be its most effective, because that's where you're trying to actually do all your spot checking and your zone recounts and stuff. So you put it at each basically data center or wherever you're running your physicals at.
Yep. So the hardest part in this whole process is just to format the Excel sheet so that it has the headers on each page, and
Right.
it has where you write in the actual count per zone.
Exactly.
Pretty cool.
And that's about it.
That's simple.
All right.
So here's the zip file, so you can with the application, so you can copy it wherever you want.
And you guys own this licensing, so for Airmark, so you can put that at any property, and I'll send this in a YouTube form so that you could send this video on to anyone. And is there anything else that we could be doing to make this easier to roll out?
No, I think we're
Go
good.
ahead and inactivate our test physical, so it's not just sitting there.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Okay. Like I said, the one thing Stephanie noted was about the desktop. So if you're going to store the export files in some folder and it's giving you some problems, try having the Excel document on the desktop. Do run the customization, and then once it's done exporting, then copy it to wherever you need to. Because she said sometimes it acts weird if it's in folders and not on the desktop.
That makes sense. Okay.
And Kevin, you copied over the executable to that Retail Pro 9 folder, right? So I think.
Yes, yeah. So it's not actually an installer; it's just the executable. So I just dropped it into the Retail Pro 9 folder, so that it can see the local PIs. Yeah.
Okay.
And then also, yeah, you have to typically you have to run it as administrator, especially if you're on a domain and stuff like that, because it has to have rights to read the Retail Pro 9 folder, like the stuff within the folder.
Yep.
So.
And George, you have 5 hours on account with us for troubleshooting this or helping you to, the next time you're doing this for someone or so we have some hours banked. You could always just call in at the 800-377-7776, ask for Karen, and I'll make sure we get you to the right person here to troubleshoot, or we'll schedule it most likely.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Oh, wonderful. I hope that works out for you guys. Thank you guys. And I think we already loaded this also for Crater Lake. And I'm not sure if they got to use it for their physical that they did a few months back, but it is loaded there. I think people just need a little bit of direction and how to make it work to their advantage there. So
I'm actually
all
at
right.
Crater. I can tell you we are using it this week. We have been
You
using
are
it, yes.
using. Oh, you have.
Yeah,
Oh,
Stephanie told me they were using it.
perfect. Well, yeah, I don't think we got it there in time for the last time they were using it, but I'm glad it's making use of it now. So that's wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, George, and thank you, Vicki, and Kevin. Thank you for jumping in there. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Yes,
All right. I'll send you this video. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
All right,
you.
take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.